Carrie Morgan was Cassie Ventura's former best friend, Carrie Morgan. She described witnessing Combs assaulting Cassie twice.
Cassie for 17 years, but things went sour after she alleged that Diddy beat her with a wooden coat hanger and she signed an NDA.
You won't believe what set Diddy off when Carrie Morgan, Cass's best friend, took the stand. Did he manage to keep his cool? Or did his emotions finally get the better of him, even for just a moment?
Described witnessing Combs assaulting Cassie twice. The first time in a home Combs was renting in the Hollywood Hills. Morgan testified that, quote, "I saw him push her. I'm pretty sure he hit her." The second time allegedly happened in Jamaica. Morgan says they were in the bar area of a home when, quote, "I heard her screaming." She recalled guttural, terrifying screams. Combs faces the possibility of life in prison if convicted. He's pleaded not guilty and has denied all wrongdoing.
The room wasn't tense yet, but you could feel something hanging in the air as everyone settled in, expecting just another ordinary day in court. Diddy sat calmly at his table, leaning back slightly, while his legal team quietly flipped through their notes, looking confident. Like they had everything under control, the media waited behind the barriers, whispering and ready to snap photos of anything even remotely interesting. Then, unexpectedly, Carrie Morgan walked into the courtroom. Her name had come up a few times, but few realized just how important her role would be in this case involving Cass's best friend. As Carrie took the stand, she looked calm but determined. The prosecution was clearly prepared, and everyone knew the day was about to take a serious turn. The prosecution welcomed Carrie to the stand, but Diddy's team exchanged uneasy glances. Diddy's eyes followed her every step, and his calm posture slowly grew tense. As Carrie was sworn in, the mood in the room shifted, and the confidence Diddy had shown earlier began to slip. At first, most people didn't notice, but those watching closely saw the small signs. His jaw tightened, his hands clenched, and his eyes narrowed as Carrie started to speak. Before long, the tension in the courtroom was undeniable. Witnesses later described the moment as electric. With everyone feeling the weight of what was unfolding, the courtroom was silent, everyone hanging on Carrie's every word, and especially watching how Diddy would react. Suddenly, he slammed his hand on the table and shouted, breaking the quiet. Reporters said he looked furious. One journalist said it was like he just couldn't hold it in any longer. Diddy's outburst struck a nerve, and soon, explosive personal details spilled out, making the tension even worse. The judge called for order again and again, while security guards stood ready, clearly prepared to step in if things got out of hand. But this wasn't just a quick reaction, it was a full breakdown. Diddy shook his head and pointed at Carrie, his behavior sharply different from the calm, controlled image he'd worked so hard to keep. Witnesses later told reporters the mood in the courtroom was intense. One moment, it was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. The next, everyone was on edge, clearly shocked by what had just happened. Diddy muttered loudly to his legal team, and even his attorneys seemed caught off guard, rushing to calm him down. According to a court insider outside the courthouse, reporters scrambled to figure out exactly what had triggered Diddy's breakdown. The big question everyone wanted answered was, what did Carrie Morgan say that shook one of the most composed figures in the music world? To understand why Diddy reacted the way he did, it's important to know who Carrie Morgan is, and just how powerful her words were in this case.
Morgan was on the stand. That was Cassie Ventura's former best friend. What did Carrie say happened after that incident?
Cassie Ventura left the Intercontinental Hotel, went back to her apartment, her home, and there was Carrie Morgan waiting. She said immediately she saw the black eye that Ventura had testified Combs gave her after the freak-off got violent, and the whole reason why then the subsequent assault in the hallway happened. And then Carrie Morgan said about a half hour later, Sean Combs starts banging on the door with a hammer. It was not let in, but she said she heard him yelling, and finally called some of Combs' staff members to try to get him to leave. Police were called, but Cassie Ventura said, and Carrie Morgan backed this up, that nothing ever came of it because Cassie Ventura refused to say anything about Sean Combs and what happened to her.
Aaron, I have to ask you, because Combs was sitting just feet away from Don Richard and Carrie Morgan in court today, how did he react to seeing them and hearing all of this?
He's been an attentive listener. In some cases, he would shake his head or nod along or consult with his lawyers, scribbling a lot of notes. This was an important part of the testimony because it made a turn